Overlord Episode 12 Invasion of the Royal Capital. Not much really happened in this week's episode, except for a solid send-off to one of the more interesting characters in the Overlord series, namely Brain Unglaus. But still, let's go through this sequentially. We start off with where we left off in the previous episode. Pandora's actor is explaining what happened in their encounter with the Platinum Dragon. Specifically, how when he bowed down, the Platinum Warrior immediately stopped his barrage of attacks, which to Ainz is a very important information and will be highly useful should Nazarick ever truly face off with the Platinum Warrior. Although, Albedo had something to say about how Pandora's actor went about his battle with the Platinum Warrior. Albedo does not believe Ainz would ever kneel down an opponent, especially during battle. Pandora's actor realizes that this is true and Ainz would never do that. However, Ainz speaks up and says Pandora's actor did a brilliant job and says that if an enemy is willing to drop their guard by simply kneeling in front of them, why would he not do it? Which is true and very in line with Ainz's personality in real life. Fun fact, back in his Yggdrasil PvP days, Ainz was known to purposefully lose his first match against another player in order to gather information on his strengths and weaknesses, and then use that information to completely decimate them in their second bout. And if you think back on Ainz's fight with Shaltir in the first season, you can see him use many deceptive tactics to force Shaltir to do certain actions that would benefit him in the end, such as giving her false mana and HP information, false traps, and other such things that forced Shaltir to fight in a certain way. So in the end, Ainz was very pleased with the information gathered by both Albedo and Pandora's actor. However, he reminds them that this is still not enough information to truly have an absolute victory over the Platinum Warrior, as they still do not know if the skills he used, such as the floating swords, armor, and the isolation barrier, were a product of his own skills or a world item under his possession. So Nazarick must prepare for another encounter with the Platinum Warrior and gather more intel. Ainz then continues his inner monologue and states that even though he has confirmed that resurrection is possible in this world, as he has resurrected an NPC and a person of this new world, this does not mean it applies to him, a player. But knowing that the 6 great gods and the 8 great kings were also actually powerful players in this world's past died at a certain point means that Ainz can only safely assume that players such as himself cannot be resurrected. So Ainz must tread even more cautiously moving forward, and any loss that does not lead to his death is an acceptable loss in his books. And with that, the meeting with Albedo and Pandora's actor concludes, and Ainz proceeds to catch up with the Cocytus in his invasion of the royal capital. Now on to the next scene. We catch up with Princess Renner and her bodyguard/knight named Climb, who are both at the orphanage under their care. We see Princess Renner giving thanks to the caretakers of the orphanage and saying goodbye to the many happy orphans under her care. But as she leaves, we can see that she is feeling down, as she knows this could possibly be her last visit, as the Sorcerer Kingdom's army slowly encroaches the Riestes Kingdom. Climb comforts her and reminds her that the orphanage and the happy children there would not have been possible without her. Now on to the next scene. We see both Princess Renner and Climb having a meeting with the Adamantite level adventurer group known as Blue Roses, which strangely enough comes out of left field. Nonetheless, it seems the Blue Roses are acting quite strange in this meeting, suddenly asking for more tea and sweets, and they tell Princess Renner the reason for this is so that Lachius and her may have more time to talk, as this may be their last opportunity to do so. But as soon as the ninja Tia offers Lachius, their leader, a very bitter tea, she suddenly stabs her in the stomach. Tia and Gagaran continue to subdue her while Evil Eye continues her debuff spells. Lachius tries to fend them off, however, she does not have her usual armor set nor her magical items. After which, with enough poison and beatdown, Evil Eye's Charm Person magic spell now has complete hold of Lachius. Princess Renner and Climb are both confused by this sudden turn of events, Evil Eye explains that they are only doing this for her own good, as they firmly know Lacus is willing to defend the kingdom against Ainz Ul Gon's armies. However, the rest of the Blue Roses group are against this idea, as they are not interested in getting involved in this political squabble, and technically speaking, adventurers are not allowed to get involved in these kinds of situations. And now, with Lacus under control, Evil Eye prepares to teleport all of them away from the Riestes kingdom. She then tells Princess Renner and Climb if they would like to join them in escaping, to which Princess Renner respectfully declines, as she has a role to still fulfill while the kingdom lives. Brain Unglaus also understands the situation, and he as well has a personal task to accomplish. He then hands the kingdom's sacred treasured sword to Climb, after which he then leaves and prepares to confront the Sorcerer Kingdom army. Now, before Princess Renner proceeds with her final duties in the kingdom, she asks Climb if she could wield the treasured sword for a second, which she surprisingly does well with. Typically, only people with training and experience in the warrior class are able to wield swords effectively, but we can see Princess Renner has great aptitude for it, thereby implying that she has more to hide than we previously thought. Now on to the best scene of this episode. We see Brain Unglaus walking through the streets of the Riestes kingdom, seeing people fear inside their houses, as they had no chance of escape against the Sorcerer Kingdom's powerful army. Nonetheless, Brain continues to fearlessly walk towards the encroaching army of Yuki Onas that are freezing the city buildings one by one. To recall, Brain Unglaus is one of the greatest swordsmen in this new world, who has only been bested by Gazef Stronov, the Riestes kingdom's greatest warrior, but that was only by a small millimeter difference in skill. Brain was born with immense talent, and knows that if he trained even just a little bit, he could easily overtake Gazef Stronov, his friend/rival. But this all changed when he met the denizens of Nazarick, specifically Shaltir. Even with his greatest technique combined with potions and physical buffs to fully maximize his abilities, it may as well have been nothing against the level 100 NPC. This shattered Brain's confidence, as well as changed his whole worldview perspective, now that he knows that there are beings in this world whose strengths will never be achieved by any mere mortal. After bringing himself out of that depression, he was able to train once more and then test this newfound strength against Shaltir once more. But, as expected, all his strengths are still nothing compared to hers. However, his new Godflash skill was able to cut the very tip of Shaltir's nail, and that was enough to allow Brain Unglaus to continue to move forward in life. And now in the present, Brain Unglaus faces his greatest foe yet, the being in charge of the Yuki Onas and the invasion of the Riestes kingdom, the Nazarick level 100 floor guardian, Cocytus. Brain readies his sword in front of him and takes 3 potions that allow him to reach his highest possible physical limits. Cocytus emerges from the frozen fog, seeing this warrior fully ready and dedicated in front of him. Brain then proudly states his name as a declaration of duel against this floor guardian, to which Cocytus honorably responds to by stating his position in the Sorcerer Kingdom and his name. Brain Unglaus understands he has been recognized and honored by a being of godlike strengths who could have easily ignored him or crushed him and throw him by the wayside. Brain sheathes his sword and gives thanks to the recognition, and Cocytus responds by saying no need, and then proceeds to bring out his best sword, the God-slaying Emperor Blade. Both warriors enter their attacking stance, and Brain Unglaus continues to add on physical buffs that are essentially breaking his limits and his body. Cocytus enters Brain Unglaus' field, and Brain unleashes his greatest Godflash 6-fold slash onto the floor guardian, to which Cocytus easily breaks through and cuts Brain Unglaus straight down. Cocytus was honored to meet such a valiant warrior in the field, and he honors him by preserving his body in ice in perfect condition, as well as taking the great warrior's katana as a trophy to remember him by. And with that, our episode ends with Cocytus continuing his march and downfall of the Riestes kingdom. A really solid ending to what is rather a simple episode in Overlord Season 4. I'm not gonna lie, it was really easy to tell that there was a lot of cut content on this one. I had a lot of questions like why was Blue Rose's meeting with Princess Renner, why Lacus would go out in such a casual outfit knowing that there was an invasion on that day or fairly soon. Also, why Mare was looking for the Magic Guild when they entered the Riestes kingdom. Small tidbits of information like that is most likely in the light novel, but seeing as this is the anime, we should be able to get that info in efficient manner at least, so that those anime only viewers know what's going on. But other than that, it was really solid in the ending department. And I really hope that next week's episode, which will most likely be the last one, ties the whole season 4 really well. It's been a really solid ride overall, and I really love what they've done. And clearly the audience really likes it too, as of the September 9 to September 16 anime of the week in Anime Corner, Overlord Season 4 topped it in the charts. So yeah, that's a really good sign. So I hope we get great things next week. And let me know what your thoughts and ideas were in today's episode. Leave them down below in the comment section. Like and subscribe and all that SEO stuff. And I'll see you all on the next one.